Given the time, labor, and effort that has been put into what's been going on with Anthony Joshua's boxing career, the trainer unquestionably would come up as far as the success or failure, and a lot of the praise or criticism would be heaped upon the shoulders of said trainer. But such is the case for Ben Davison, who has had the luxury and the privilege to be a part of Anthony Joshua's resurgence over his last couple of wins, and it remains to be seen exactly how long this will last. But there are questions not only about this situation, but going forward. What can we expect from AJ? Let's talk about this. Boxing, forever the theater of the unexpected. And such is the case when we talk and look back upon what's been going on with Anthony Joshua. He is enjoying a streak of win and success, and some of that can partly be contributed to the work that he put in with Derrick James. When Joshua came to the U.S., to James's Texas camp, he was looking for a new start and a fresh start, and James was able to help him with that. However, in his last two bouts, what we have learned is Joshua, who has now amassed his record of 28-3. This is the thing about that presently. Though the record shows that Joshua is still a successful heavyweight, 25 knockouts, James is nowhere to be seen or credited for this new resurgence in what's happening with AJ. Now, I'm not trying to drive a wedge or even question whether or not James is deserving of credit, but we do know that Joshua, over his last two fights, have opted for the services of Ben Davison. Now, the media hasn't made much of that. They might have asked a question or two, and Joshua says, his relationship is still good with Derrick James. But understand, participating in the matches that have been held in Saudi, some of the biggest respect that you can pay homage to a trainer and give back is the bread, Yeah, the purses. We know that the Saudis are paying handsomely. And though Joshua has had his last two fights there, this past Friday, March 8th, against Francis Ngannou, a spectacular second round knockout for Joshua. And prior, December's bout against Otto Wallin, we saw Joshua in Saudi again. But Derrick James was not a part of these last two fights for Joshua. Now, does that mean that he's no longer going to work with Derrick James? Or is he stepping behind the fact that Davison is his countryman, and when he goes home and feels comfortable, he'll be there to hang his ear upon everything that Davison has to offer. Now, Davison is building a reputation of his own over in the UK, having worked with a variety of fighters and has had some mod success. And that's great. But overall, what will be Joshua's explanation? What will be the definition? What will be how you would describe he as a fighter? The fight against Ngannou didn't show us enough of what's really needed to be seen. The fight against Hellenius kind of showed us that Joshua was still working some things through. The Otto Wallen fight showed us that Joshua was looking a little bit more assured of himself, but I am undoubtedly of the faith that it's been the activity. The fact that he's been fighting more frequent, you have to consider that, because activity is a fighter's best friend. Think about it. From May or April of 2023 through this past Friday, Joshua has fought 4 times. And he hasn't fought that frequent in a number of years. And the proof is in the pudding. To be frequently in the ring, focused on your craft, and be able to execute, you will produce positive results. And I'm not so certain that Davison is responsible for that any more than Joshua is for electing to get busy and active. And that's where the article from Boxing Scene comes in, where Ben Davison has said that Joshua's improvements come from he stepping up to the plate. The article, and link will be in the description, says he has downplayed his influence on Joshua in his return to form following his victory knockout win over Ngannou on Friday. Davison is trying to say that he believes that collectively as a team that we came up with a type of game plan, not disrespecting Ngannou, but everyone was going in about how good his chin was. We were not so sure about that. He had never been hit by anyone like AJ, who was going to set up his punches like he does, which he did, and that's how it happened. This is the thing. Ngannou is not a natural southpaw, but he switched it up to southpaw. And we told AJ before the fight to drop a right hand to the body, and we were confident that Ngannou was going to try and parry that type of shot. He did try that. AJ sold it and switched it up, and that was the first knockdown. Davison goes on to say that it has always been all AJ. We did not have a magic wand or anything. I just helped him select the right tools for the job. Davison is trying to be modest. That's why I mentioned mod early. But his success can be measured over the other fighters that he has worked with. When you have big, strong, talented heavyweights like Anthony Joshua, there's not a lot to do there. There are things to remind you're in charge of, but the frequency, the activity, being regularly in the ring fighting, not just in the gym training, but regularly in the ring, fighters become loose and they can let it rip. That's the benefit of the activity of Joshua. But personally, I do see touches of what Derek James helped bring to him. And if Joshua doesn't really want to bring James along for the ride and to be able to pay the man respectively, I do see that that's kind of a question I will hold about character. Because when you're good at something in life, never do it for free. And I'm sure that Joshua, with what he has been able to receive from the fights over in Saudi, could have plenty to share. But will he? It remains to be seen. And that's something that we all may or may not be informed of in due time. But as it goes, people like Joshua, who have shown instability over the course of time and loyalty to a few, that's something to pay attention to right there. And James, he's had success in doing what he was doing. He should just remain in that place, because his success will be away from Joshua. He will never get the credit for what he was able to give and bring to that man's career. This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are about Derrick James not necessarily getting the credit that he may have earned and deserved. Let's discuss. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.